Honestly, I didn't expect much out of this movie. I wasn't the hugest fan of the mean one. I thought the directors really did try. I think it was a decent movie, but it wasn't great. I didn't like Mousetrap. I thought it was fucking terrible. And the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movies are fun bad. This movie, there was a lot I liked and a lot I didn't like, but I think overall, it was a really fun watch. I think the directors really tried on this movie. And honestly, I didn't expect Mickey Mouse to actually be, like the size of a mouse. He's small in this movie. Um, so if you didn't know, let's give a little context. Steamboat Willie became public domain, which means anybody can use it. And that is what people are now doing. That's what happened last year with Mousetrap, but it was a guy in a very obvious mouse costume, and that movie sucked. But this movie was a lot of fun. The acting wasn't great. The plot was serviceable at best. But the kills, my god, they were fun. Like, and they also did something that I'm pretty sure I had said in my Mousetrap review that, or maybe I just thought about it and forgot to include it. Who knows? Um, Something that I thought would have been cool in the Mousetrap movie would have been them using the Steamboat Willie whistle. Like how you have the Jason music and you have the Halloween music that plays in the background. When something's about to go down. I think Mickey should have been like whistling when he was about to kill people. In this movie, they do that. And he whistles like baseball songs in this movie. I'm like 99% sure. Like, I'm pretty sure at one point he's whistling Pop Goes the Weasel when he kills the guy. And then the other baseball song that's like 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. Um, I don't know what that one's called, but it was something I listened to a lot as a kid. Just a lot of nursery rhymes. It very much feels like a horror Disney movie. Like it's paying tribute to Disney, not just making fun of it, but at the same time, it is making fun of it. Um, they also have like a little meta joke near the end with the fact that 90 years later, Mickey is finally out in the public. That is exactly how they phrase it. So, you know what they're doing. The kills in this movie, like I said, were amazing. There's this guy getting his throat garroted, or whatever you call it. It's like the thing in Hitman and stuff like that. And it's taken quite a while, and he's getting frustrated, and he gets it to come off, and that is when he's whistling like the Pop Goes the Weasel song. And then there's a kill where he electrocutes a bunch of people, where we get the guy from Impractical Jokers. I've never watched the show. I watched like clips of it, and sometimes on like off days in school they would play it in class. Um, but yeah, the guy Brian Quinn, he has a very brief cameo where he sees Mickey Mouse and he's like, "Am I fucking high or is that a mouse?" And then you see two more clips of him. He doesn't have any more speaking lines after that. When Mickey, is using a water hose. Don't know where it came from, but he uses a water hose to spray a bunch of people back. And then you also see Brian Quinn get electrocuted, so he's one of the many people that die in that scene. Because we come to the conclusion that this guy comes to the conclusion that they need to get rid of him before he keeps killing people. And you have this giant crowd of people because he had them all put in this area now to keep them safer from the killer. And they say that they're going to find the person that did this and they're going to throw him overboard. They're going to take it into their own hands. And he's, doing this hype speech. And then Mickey Mouse just fucking kills him. He just fucking kills him. It's pretty hilarious. And though people are screaming at first, they very much are still gonna go with the plan. They start running at him, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he pulls out the water hose and starts spraying them. And then he electrocutes all of them to death. It is fucking insane. There's a few survivors after this. There's this one black guy, I don't remember what his name was, who was sleeping on the train. There's this kid, Mateo, who was with his mother. His mother was one of the victims. The old guy, Barry, survives, who's played by a character from the horror movie The Day of the Dead. I instantly recognized him. He's 40 years later, he's still very recognizable. A few other people survived that just weren't in the area. Like there's this couple, this cop and this girl who start to, have sex, oral sex anyway, and Mickey finds them and he cuts off the guy's dick while the dick is in her mouth. It is one of the funniest and most creative kills I've ever seen in a horror movie. It's hilarious. Then he kills her too, obviously. He later uses the dick on a gag with, this somewhat unlikable character. I think you're supposed to be rooting for him to die, but I mean, he wasn't that bad. He gives him the dick as like a tool because the guy needs some tools and he asks for a Phillips screwdriver. He gives him the wrong screwdriver. Then he gives him a wrench, and then eventually he just gives him the decapitated dick, and it falls into his mouth, and then he kills him. Oh, and Mickey Mouse also fucking just break dances after their electrocution kill. It's fucking hilarious. I think David Howard Thornton, the guy that plays Terrifier in The Grinch, he was just amazing in this role. He was a lot of fun. And again, he plays a character that doesn't really talk. He does make some noises, but doesn't really talk. Then the old guy, Barry, from, Day of the Dead, he gives us the backstory on Steamboat Willie. And it's whatever. Apparently, Walt, who's obviously a parody of Walt Disney, took in Mickey Mouse after he was being tortured by other people to be more animated. But then one day, while at sea, a bad accident happened and Walt Disney went overboard. It's also revealed later that Mickey's girlfriend also went overboard, Minnie, who I guess Minnie Mouse is public domain too, maybe? If not, they could be getting sued for that. I hadn't heard anything about her being public domain. Though they don't call her Minnie Mouse, they just call her Minnie. But that's still iffy because she makes an appearance at the end of the movie. So then there's also this guy named Pete, who I guess could be referenced to, I think he's like Pete the dog, the guy that is always fucking with Mickey and Goofy. Yeah, he ends up dying. He's a whatever character. He's a love interest for one of the characters who I don't even really care about either. Then, they supposedly defeat him, but at the end of the movie they show he's still alive and Minnie's with him. So he finally found her. He was looking for her. One of the dumbest things in this movie is the movie opens up with opening kills. You gotta have opening kills in modern horror movies most of the time. And he kills this one guy, and then there's this girl who's apparently named Dominique. I didn't even know her name until she shows up later in the movie. It's implied she gets killed, but it's like an off-screen kill, which is always iffy if that person actually died. But there's like 20 minutes left in the movie, and they reveal that Mickey actually left her alive, and she's working with him now. And she even puts on like a hat that kind of looks like Mickey Mouse ears. and then she hits the black guy, and she hits the other guy, Pete. And then eventually Mickey shows up, and he's pissed from getting stabbed in the eye, and he kills her for some reason. So I don't really get what her plot really was. It was very interesting and a stupid plot twist. A character that was in one scene in the opening scene just shows up and like, hey, I'm a bad guy too, and then she gets killed by the other bad guy. Very lame. Um, they have the standoff with Mickey. They defeat him by like she pretends to seduce him, like she dresses up like Minnie Mouse because she has a skirt that apparently kind of looks like Minnie Mouse's skirt. That is at least what they're implying in the movie. And then obviously she tries to kill him, but it fails, and then she almost falls off the boat, and he's about to kill her, but he decides to help her up instead. And then this EMT girl in the movie is like, hey, fuckface, and he turns around, and then he gets stabbed again. It's a weird defeat. I don't know if they were trying to make him more sympathetic or what. Just weird choice in general. I still think it's a very fun movie. They say there's only 3 survivors, the 2 girls and Mateo. But the old guy doesn't die. Like, they don't even imply that he dies or whatever. They say they have to leave him behind. But, like, I don't think it was a fatal leave him behind. So, I mean, he should still be alive. I mean, I guess they kind of say that he could still be alive. They said, are we the only survivors? And he was like, as we know, or something like that. So, maybe he's still alive. Or maybe they just forgot that they didn't kill him. And then the movie ends with, Mickey and Minnie. And it also says that Mickey and Minnie will return. So apparently they're planning a sequel on this movie. Don't know why. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun though. Maybe the sequel will also be fun. I had found out about it through a sponsored post on Instagram of all things. I never watched the trailer. I had never heard anything about it until it was already out. It was like, oh, it's going to drop on Peacock on this date, and I'm watching it now. And yeah, I think it was a pretty fun movie.